Good evening, friends, and welcome to yet another awesome session of Mindful Living. We truly appreciate your taking out time and joining us this session on a weekday in the evening. Your intention to join the session is a clear indication of your intention to improve your quality of life. And all sessions of mindful living are guaranteed to improve your quality of life. How the session today will impact your quality of life is something which we will see in a couple of minutes from now. Is it okay if we begin by asking you a few questions? Please type okay if it is okay for me to ask you a few questions. Friends, please type okay. Okay, thank you, Kamaldeep. People can hear me, Amol. Check at your end. Thank you, Mona. So, friends, how many of you own a bike or a car? Please type me in the chat box if you own a bike or a car. Thank you, Madhu. Please type me if you own a bike or a car. Thank you, Shubhram. Friends, I would request everybody to participate and respond. Thank you, Jagdeep. Shobha, many people can hear me. Check at your end. Thank you, Kamaldeep. Thank you, Shalini. Friends, I need to hear from everybody. How many of you own a bike or a car? Thank you. You or your family. That's okay. And how many of us get these car or bike serviced regularly? If you get your bike or car serviced regularly, type me. All right. Thank you, Shivram. Thank you, Badrinarayan. Thank you, Madhu. That's good. So a lot of us get our cars and bikes serviced regularly. Is there anyone who keeps running their bike and car and does not get it serviced because they don't have time? I don't see anybody who is saying that they keep running their bike or car because they don't have time. Because it's very important for us to have our cars functioning perfectly well, and that is why we keep them serviced regularly. Now imagine you take your car to a mechanic and he says that your carburetor is not clean. What do you think will happen if your carburetor is not clean? We don't need correct answers as per engineering, but just your understanding of what is the impact of not having clean carburetors. What do you think will happen sometimes? Okay, let us see. Anybody has an idea what happens if the carburetor is not clean? Fuel consumption may go up. Okay, Mona, thank you. It may stop. Thank you. Car will not start. It will not run smoothly. Very good. Thank you, friends, for your responses. Now let us see if the mechanic tells you your spark plug is bad. Either it is, there is some kachra or it is too far to, it's not firing properly. What will happen if your spark plug is bad? Or if there is an oil leak? What happens if there is an oil leak? The mechanic tells you there is an oil leak. What will happen? It won't start. Okay. Thank you, Naval. Thank you, Mona. Car will not start. Thank you, Kamaldeep. Car won't start. There will be wastage. Yes. If there is an oil leak, there is wastage. It will get seized. It will not go far. And, irrespective of the amount of oil we keep putting in, if there is a leak, it will keep going out, So we will think that we are putting so much oil, but what's happening? It's not moving forward. Does that happen to us sometimes in life? We are putting in a lot of efforts, but we are not getting the results for that. So that is, akin to getting a oil leak, or the sludge is not flushed out of the engine. It's like having toxins in our body, or if the air pressure is not right in the tires, if it's not equal or it's not balanced if your tires are not balanced and the air pressure is not right, what will happen to your car? It's a danger to our life. Thank you. It will overheat. Yeah. So friends, what will happen if your tires are not balanced and the air pressure is not even? It will lose balance. Thank you. Yeah. It'll be a bumpy ride. Very well said. Fuel will consume more fuel. Efficiency will go down. There will be uncomfortable drive, right? Friends, we all, when it comes to our cars and bikes, we all understand this. It will not run very well. Thank you for saying that, Sunil. But when it comes to our life, we don't take any time to balance the energy which moves us. And that is the reason we organized this session in the month of June, which is, famous for organizing, Yoga International Day, International Yoga Day on 21st June. So we invited Dr. Nupur to come and talk to us about the chakras and the energy body, how their alignment and balancing impacts our health and well-being. And we couldn't have anybody better than Dr. Nupur to talk about it. She's a medical doctor who transitioned into mind-body medicine over 20 years ago. She's a certified meditation teacher specializing in techniques like medical hypnosis for subconscious mind reprogramming. She has been working at an NHS hospital in London for over 5 years now, offering her services to cancer patients and trauma patients. Her work is truly pathbreaking. Her research has been published, and not only published, it has won awards also. Dr. Nupur, we are truly happy to have you with us today.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you so much for such lovely, kind words. And thanks to everybody for joining us almost very late evening in India right now. So a very, very warm welcome to each one of you. And thank you for Mindful Living for organizing something so beautiful.
Thank you, Dr. Nupur. Friends, how many of you are joining us for the first time? If you're joining a Mindful Living session for the first time, please type FT in the chat box. Thank you, Vaishali. Thank you, Swati. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you, Kamaldeep. Thank you, Shobha. So a lot of you are joining our session for the first time. Let me take a minute to introduce myself. My name is Ashish Kumar, and I'm the founder of Mindful Living. I started Mindful Living in 2018. Prior to that, I worked in the corporate sector for over 25 years in senior management roles with organizations like Tata AIG, Future Generali, Marsh India, HCL Healthcare, and Healthcare at Home. In 2018, I started Mindful Living with a mission to help 1 million working professionals lead healthier, happier, and wealthier lives. In the last 5 years, we have conducted over 300 sessions for over 50 leading corporates that include companies like Aditya Birla Capital, Tata Capital, Signify, Schneider, Airbnb, IBM, Swiggy, EXL, and many more. The session today is being organized as a part of Mindful Living Community, which started in 2020, April 2020, when the first lockdown happened. Few of my friends reached out to me and said that they're facing a lot of anxiety and stress due to the lockdown and requested me to conduct a session for them. So over a weekend, I conducted a mindfulness meditation session. One thing led to the other. And we have now grown to be a vibrant community of over 3,000 people, which connects regularly to learn and share about living our lives consciously. In case you would like to be a part of this vibrant community, please click on the link that we are sharing in the chat and join the community. It's a very safe space to learn about practicing mindfulness. We don't have any religious or political posts, and we don't judge anyone for what they are saying or sharing. So please feel free to join the community. And before I hand over to Dr. Nupur, please use the reactions buttons. We'll have the question answer towards the end of the session, but please keep shooting your questions on the chat. Keep your cameras on, clap or show love if Dr. Nupur shares something interesting. And in case you have a question at the end of it, use the raise hand button to raise your hand virtually, and we will take you in that sequence you've raised hands. So on that note, over to Dr. Nupur, and thank you all of you for joining the session today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ashish. And thank you everybody for taking out your precious time. We are going to be sharing something today, which is very profound, very going back to the essence of who we are and understanding a few things about what energy is, who we are really. So I see some familiar faces here. So it is always a pleasure to see you. And it'll be lovely to see more of you. So please feel free to share your screens and switch on your cameras whenever possible. Okay, with that, let me start sharing my presentation. But as I'm doing so, I'd like to hear from you all in the chat. Please share. Do you know about chakras? How do you relate to chakras? What do you think about chakras? So it'll be nice to hear from people how connected are they to their chakras? Are we doing something about them? Do we have a yogic practice? Do we have a meditation practice? So feel free to shoot in the chat some of your understandings and experiences with chakras. It'll be lovely to hear that. Okay, so yes, people are aware. That's lovely to know. Through yoga, through pranayam, through mantras, yes, absolutely. They are the energy centers in our body. Very nice. They're connected. Okay. All right, Reshma, yes. Okay, lovely. So we all are to some extent aware that we have some chakras. We have very commonly, the most common knowledge is that we have 7 chakras. Let me share with you that we have many more chakras than 7 chakras. Some literatures are sharing that we have as many as 114 chakras or more, right? So what are these chakras? Where are they located? And how can we and why should we access them for our health and wellness and for our well-being? That's going to be my intention, to share some work with you in this space. This topic is very important for us to know because it completely aligns with what our life experiences are, right? We are not going to be going into the details of many other chakras. We are going to, for the sake of this conversation, understand the 7 primary chakras and some hand chakras, because that is literally the backbone of our energy bodies and of who we are energetically, physically. So that's what we are going to be discussing more of today, but that doesn't mean that we have only these many chakras. As I said, we have many more, right? So if I could ask you a very simple question, who are we? Who am I? Who are you? Share in the chat of what do you think you are? If somebody asks you, so who are you? Or who am I? If this question comes up in your heart, what answer might come up for you? Any thoughts? I would love to hear. Okay, consciousness, very interesting. I am, very nice. Anybody else? Okay, lovely. Okay, a soul. Okay, right.
An energy body.
Okay, so try and stick to the chat if that's okay, just for the sake of recording. Okay, human being, yes, absolutely. And this human being is what we believe ourselves to be, right? This is who we are. We belong to a species, we belong to a race called human being. Though it's a different aspect that we have become more human doings than beings, right? We are doing a lot more than we are being. So somebody mentioned in the chat that we are human beings. Yes, we are, but what aspect of us is being and what aspect of us is doing? That really deserves a bit of attention. And this is what chakras are telling us. The chakras are actually telling us that we are more beings, we are more energy than matter. And this is something now which is being proven to us more and more through the field of quantum physics. Quantum science is telling us this is something we knew, our ancestors knew, our spiritual teachers knew, that we are energies. Some of you have mentioned we are a soul, right? What does that really mean? Because soul is not singular. Soul is a field of energy. So I'm going to be talking more about the terminology as the energy beings, because this is something now which has been proven in science, in spirituality, in whichever aspect. And if you are a non-believer, then all the more reason to listen to this chat, with this talk, this webinar with a very open mind, because here we're going to understand that there is a dimension, there is a very deep dimension to us that we don't know, we are not aware of. And that is the field that we are, a very potent, powerful field of energy. And it's only that they say that literally it's only 1% of us is matter, and the rest of us is all energy, it's all frequency vibrations. Even if you research and even if you study a single cell, right, you'll understand that the cell is 99.99% space. And it is made of particulate matter, which literally is in the form of vibrations and frequency. So I'm not going to go into too much detail of explaining how we are more energy, but I'm going to tell you that now we have some amazing path-breaking research that is telling us that we are this field of energy, and our physical bodies is just a very tiny manifestation, a very tiny aspect of our reality. Now, this is very contrary to our experience for most of us. If we are not meditators, if we are not into a deep, self-realization practices, then this can just feel like hearsay. But I'm going to explain to you why it has very deep impact on our reality, on our life and our life experiences. Now, this picture that you're able to see in front of you is not just something that is because it looks good or it's because of some energetic field. This has come from research. There is an institute called the HeartMath Institute that has developed very strong instruments that are able to study the human heart's electromagnetic field now. And this is what they have come up through their instruments, that our heart, the heart of a human being, is a very powerful creator of something what we call the electromagnetic field around us. And this field, as you can say, is right now just coming from the heart, as per their experiments in their studies. Now, this is not something which is localized only to heart. All parts of our body, all organ systems are a vibrational field that are creating this. Why is this very important, and why am I sharing this? Is because this is evidence-based. What does evidence-based means? That this is backed by research. We have proof of this now, that there is a field, and we call this the toroidal field. See, this almost looks like an apple, right? So this is called a toroidal field, where they are studying that the electromagnetic field of our heart is creating a field of energy around us, which almost for many, many centuries, healers talk about as our aura or auric field, right? And in this research, what the scientists have told us is that the heart's magnetic field is a very, very strong field of energy around us, around the body. This is the field of energy. And they talk about the concept of coherence and dissonance. And what does that mean? That means when this energy from our human heart or the energetic center, which is in the heart center, is robust, is healthy, when it is strong, it is called coherent. That means the field of energy around us is very healthy, whole, and complete. But when there is dissonance, now anybody who has studied physics to whatever level in school will understand these terms: resonance, dissonance, coherence, right? We used to do these experiments in physics with a tuning fork, where we would hear the resonance of something. Now, when this field is disrupted, okay, that is when there is dissonance and there is disharmony in our and break in our field of energy. And now I'm going to discuss, as we go deeper into the talk today, that the physical health that manifests as diseases happens because of the dissonance in this energetic field. And right now we are just talking about heart. Imagine every center of the body has its own energetic signature. But the most important thing is that now we know it. Now it's proven to us because of the research that's happening in this field. Also, something very profound, what these researchers have told us, HMI stands for the Heart Math Institute. Any of you are very free to Google this, and you can get this entire study out. It's a very active research that is teaching a lot of heart activations of through meditations of activating and opening up our heart field or the heart chakra. They are saying that this heart field is an important carrier of information. Now, why is this important? Information, now this is what we talk about when we say vibing. Sometimes I vibe, I was sitting with this person and I was feeling so connected, even though I've never met them. There was such a nice vibe that was coming from this person or from a place like a hospital, a place like perhaps a crematorium or a burial ground. These are places where the energy is very dense and heavy. Sometimes we say these in our normal language that I could cut the air with a knife. It was so dense there. It was so heavy. But at the same time, if you go to a place of worship, a place of nature, some place that you love going, or a home that you've created very lovingly, you'll feel the field is very different. Now that is what is meant by the heart's field is an important carrier of information. We are actually very, very strong intuitive beings who can sense things because of this field of energy is not inert, it carries information. So it's almost like when you sometimes enter a room or your home, you don't even have to wait for your family member to say something. You exactly know what is their energy, right? You exactly know what kind of day they've had. If you are a little bit of an empath or and more in touch with your intuitive guidance. This is why it's important for us to know that these energy fields are they are carrying information. They are carriers of our emotions, of our mental states, right? So coming to other aspects, so this was about heart, intensely focused on heart, but every center or every chakra has its own energetic signature, just like what we saw right now. And as I said, for the sake of our discussion today, we are going to be discussing mainly on the 7 chakras because they have a very direct and very noticeable and a very obvious impact on our physical body, right? Physical body, as I said, is now we know is a very, very small part of who we are. But still, it's a very important part. It's the carrier of your energy, isn't it? It's the vehicle. So that is what is impacted by these chakras. And as I said, there are many more chakras. If you know a reflexologist, if you know a healer or you're yourself one, you know, they work on points in your feet. They work on points in your hand. So why? Because each part is a energy center. This is something that comes from our ancient Indian philosophy, the chakra systems. Similarly, the traditional Chinese medicine talks about energy channels or energy meridians that are flowing through the body. So you must understand that our energy system is not that straightforward as just these 7 chakras. But these 7 chakras are the most central, important things that now we know and can really influence our health and many other aspects that we are going to kind of understand today of what really causes imbalances for us and to what extent do they influence us. So think of all of these energy centers, especially these 7 for the sake of discussion today, as centers of information. They're like relay centers, right? Like broadcasting centers. And each of them now we know have their own level of consciousness, right? What is level of consciousness? What is level of frequency? As we go in this conversation today, you'll understand more and more of. So the first premise that I want you to work with in today's conversation here is to know that you are energy, I am energy, we are all energy. So think from the space of frequency, vibrations, and energy field, right? So each of these centers has a frequency. And now we know that each of these centers, so what are these 7 centers? I'm going to come to them very soon. Each of them is associated with a plexus of nerve tissues. What is a plexus? A plexus is an aggregation. So each center has a collection of nerve tissues. And why is this very important? Because earlier we thought that nervous system means brain, and that means here, head, the skull, the cranium. That's where the brain is, and that's where our nervous system resides. That was what has been known to us throughout, right? When we dissect this human body, we see that. But now we are knowing more because of the research that has happened, that the nerves, the neurons are the cells of our brain tissue. The neurons are when they form a group, and that's how nerve cells communicate. These neurons actually create certain plexus or a group, and that's how the information is exchanged between these. And every chakra or every energy center has its own plexus of neurons, whether that's root chakra, whether that's sacral, whether that's solar. And this is huge. That means that every chakra or every energy center has its own mini brain, and hence the level of consciousness in every center. So they work independently, individually, and they work in connection with each other, right? So this is something which is very fundamental to understand when you understand your energy body, when you understand these chakras, because eventually these chakras, though, are in your energy field, but at the same level of those chakras, the physical body is showing a aggregation of a mini brain or a plexus of neurons. And this, every plexus of neurons or aggregation of nerve cells in each center, in each chakra, is impacting our endocrine glands. Endocrine glands are the glands that are secreting some key hormones, key biochemicals, biochemistry that is enhancing our physical health. So, you talk about now things like diabetes is so common, hypertension, we hear of these lifestyle diseases. We hear about stress so much. What is all that? Let's understand what is all that. That is all the body's homeostasis or balance going off, all our hormones going off. And now we know that these energy centers are getting impacted and impacting our plexus of neurons, which in turn impacts our glands and what hormones. For example, when you're stressed out, when you're chronically stressed, there is something called cortisol. A cortisol is a stress hormone that gets released by adrenal glands, and these glands are on the top of the kidney. So this center is this hormonal secretion is controlled by our sacral chakra, and also to a great extent by our solar plexus chakra. So this is what I'm saying, that we are actually a manifestation of our hormones, of our neurotransmitters, and this is what is getting impacted by each chakra. So these are the chakras. I'm sure most of us know these chakras, but for those of us who are new to this system of energy centers, the 7 main chakras that we're going to talk about are the root chakra, the Muladhara. They're Sanskrit words to them. Then we have got the sacral chakra. Then we have got the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, and the throat chakra, the third eye and the top of the head. Now, these chakras have all associated glands, nerve plexus, like we have got something called the inferior mesenteric plexus, which is the group of neurons associated with our root chakra. Then we have got the superior mesenteric plexus with the sacral. We have got something called the solar plexus with the celiac plexus, heart plexus. So all of these, now this has all come about over many decades of research. When we had our ancestors telling us this, we believed them, we practiced them, but some of us who were more left-brained, or those of us who were very critical, dismissed them as something which we don't know. See, our feeling and thoughts have been, what I can't see, I don't believe. What our brain can't see, we don't believe it. We have never given much importance to our intuition, our knowingness, what our ancestors always knew through clairvoyance or through downloads. Now science is always playing catch up with spirituality. So now, because we know that there are nerve plexuses, we can correlate the two things, right? And I'm going to go into the details of each chakra just in a moment. Just as we have chakras, as I said, we have perhaps as many as 114 or even more chakras. a very important aspect of the chakras that I'm going to be talking about today for all of us is our palm chakras, our hand chakras. We have energy centers in our hands. And you must have heard of this saying called the healing touch. You know, we have heard of this a lot of times. Oh, my grandmother had a healing touch. My granddad had a healing touch. They just had to put a hand and the person would be just feeling so much better. I would be feeling so much better. Also, when we are young, we have seen our parents, our carers, just putting their hands gently on a part that is hurting, just to give us love and support, isn't it? Why is that? Unknowingly, we have been activating our hand chakras, our palm chakras. So let's experience this. You know, I want you to all really experience today what I'm saying, because we are more energy than matter. So just let's do a very mini exercise to feel and experience that. For that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to just look at how I'm conducting my hands. Cup them very gently, and if possible, start clapping in a way that your tip of the fingers and your hands and palms are coming together like that. Okay, and then rub your hands and then rub your hands. Once you have done this, I want you to just close your eyes, bring your hands in a cup position gently apart. Okay, and I want you to breathe. You can put your hands at your heart level or whichever level. And I want you to breathe in your hands. Breathe into your palms. With each in-breath, draw your energy into your palms. And with each out-breath, have the intention of breathing out of your palms. Keep the focus of your attention on your hands, cupped like the way I have cupped them. And I want you to now start moving your hands closer and apart, closer and apart. Imagining an imaginary ball, a small ball, as if it was between your hands and palms. So keep playing with that ball and keep moving your hands closer and apart, closer and apart. And I want you to notice if you can start to feel any tingling in your palms. Do you feel any pull and push of any energy in your palms? So just do this as I'm guiding you. There is no right or wrong. Just become intuitive. If your eyes are closed, you're more sensitive to energy. And in your mind's eye, start making a ball of energy, as if you could shape an energetic ball. Yeah. And now I want you all to open your eyes and tell me, write it in the chat and share with the group, did you feel something there? Was there a tingling? Was there some pull? Was there some push? Was there a field of energy that you could sense and feel between your arms, between your hands? Just write it in the chat. Okay, there was a pull. Okay, yes. There was a strong energetic feel. Some of us didn't feel anything. That's also okay. There was a push and pull. Okay. So all of us are this field and this flow of energy. Okay. Some of us feel it. Some of us don't feel it. That is not because for some of us it doesn't work. It's just that some of us need a little more practice to be in tune with this energy that we have. Okay. It can feel like tingling. It can feel like pulling, pushing, pressure, or any kind of a vibration. And the more you do this, the more attuned you become with your own energy field, right? And as we take up the questions towards the end, I'm going to go into a little more detail of how this felt for some of us. Yes, tingling as well. So what was happening when we started to push and pull our hands together? We were starting to activate these mini chakras in our hands and palms. And our intention, because energy flows where attention goes. This is something very important for us to understand. So the energy started to flow because our attention was on our hands, right? So this is something which is a little more, I could call it tangible, more experienced. But for some of us, you will be able to start to feel this energy even in your chakras. And this is how powerful this work gets the more you are in touch with your own energy field, right? Just as some of you could feel it right now. Now, this is a very interesting study that was done. This was done by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it is in his book called Becoming Supernatural. Right? Dr. Joe Dispenza is a pioneer of quantum field, where he is teaching us that we are more energy than matter. He's cured himself, healed himself of a near fatal accident where he broke his spine, which was fractured in multiple pieces. He was told that he may not be able to walk ever, forget running and and doing anything with his legs. He himself worked on his own self and healed without any surgery. And within a record time of a few weeks, he was out walking, right? So if you have never heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza, please do check out his work. Well, this particular, for the relevance of our talk today, this is a study that was published in his research, in one of his workshops, where he studied the energy centers and gave us this before and after graphics of 4 subjects. In this, if you can see the before, the energy centers, what is of relevance, not just their location or alignment, but also their size. If you notice that each energy center is of a different size, so that means they are not only misaligned, but their sizes, either they're shrunk or they're overtly expanded. So for each of these subjects, this is what. And now when we are doing after the practices, after the chakra alignment, after the meditations, then when they studied them, they were actually able to locate these chakras. And this was all done by an instrument called GDV, right? And I'm going to tell you what that is. But if you're so keen to understand the technicalities, you can research it in the book as well. Through these GDV measurements of these energy centers and after the practices, see how in alignment and in a good size, the coherence that we talked about in heart chakra, that field was so uniform. And the before and after, this is one of the first studies that was ever published, which validated that yes, energy centers are there. And yes, they do get misaligned, but by practices, they can be brought in alignment, and also a more balanced size. Because as you can see, some of them can be so tiny before, and then after the alignments, after the meditation and practices, they are in such good size and shape, right? And this is again the energetic imprint of a chakra of one individual. And then they share with us this field. They actually studied with the camera, with the instrument, their auric field. And the more balanced and harmonized and aligned the chakras are, and the more they communicate with each other, the more strong the field of energy, the electromagnetic field of energy that we call the auric field is for us. And now we even know that every organ system has its own energetic signature. Why is that? Because every organ system in our body is associated with the chakra. And that's why this is something the intuitives, the healers have always known. The spiritual mystics have always known. But now we have instruments to show this. Imagine if this was a person in the previous slide who was misaligned. Imagine their auric field would be broken in so many places. It'll be thin, thick, and broken. But this is after the alignment, right? So now these studies are actually being done. So this slide, I just wanted to share that the instruments that were used were called gas discharge visualization device, which measured the field of a participant's energy before and after. And then they used a software program called BioWell to collate that data and then to create that image. So all of this is very, very well documented and researched for us to understand now that the chakra system that we are talking about is not hocus pocus. It is very, very important to our existence. That's who we are. That's what makes our energetic signature. And now we know it is real because science has played finally some catch up and it is proving it to us. Okay, so thanks to science, because sometimes some of us, including me, I have had a very pure medical, scientific study, educational background. So for me to understand all of this, I needed to see the evidence and then feel it and practice it on my own. And that's how I'm able to share this with you, having worked in this space with many of my patients and clients and seeing the impact that it has had on their lives. So how do chakras impact our life? Now, this is something which is the application of our chakra systems in our physical reality, that 1% that we think is the 100%. All the challenges that we have, whether it's financial, whether it's money related, whether it's relationship related, health related, our connection with ourselves, with our inner environment. Who am I? That space. Sometimes we are not comfortable in our own skin. We want to be like somebody else. Our self-worth issues, and then our intuition. Our intuition is that inner knowingness that helps us to enhance all of these aspects. Intuition about our work, intuition about our health, intuition about our relationships. What is intuition? It doesn't, you don't have to be a healer or a psychic. We are all healers and we are all psychics and we are all endowed with that intuitive ability. All that we need to know is to understand how do we tap into this, because our chakras are what are creating these for us. Imbalances and balances in our chakra systems are impacting it. So let's understand how is that happening. Let's talk about the root chakra first. It is the first energy center. It is the foundational energy center, which is located at the base of our spine with in an area which is called anatomically the perineum, right? Now, a root chakra, as the word suggests, the Sanskrit of it is Muladhara. Muladhara. Adhara means the foundation of our life, the mool of our life, the core of our existence, right? Now, this chakra is associated with our certain foundational aspects, our securities of feeling a part of our life. So people who have financial challenges, people who have issues with our, existential crisis, depression, for them, the root chakra gets blocked, right? And because now we know that our root chakra is associated with the plexus of nerve. And why is that important? Because that means a mini brain associated with this chakra. If this is out of balance, then it causes impact in those organs which are our organs around our perineum, our spine, our excretory organs, our large intestine, our organs of male and female reproductive system, right? Our lower legs. Because you have to understand something, that every chakra, the word chakra comes from the word vortice, a wheel or a vortice of energy. It is not three-dimensional. It's not like what you and I think. Like if I ask you to see, imagine a cell phone, this is what the cell phone looks like. And this is not exactly what a chakra is. It is a field of energy. That means it is not located in one, it is not solidified, it is flowing. And that's why I compare, and a lot of us compare chakra systems to the rainbow. Because when you're looking at the rainbow, you don't really know where the red is ending and where the orange is beginning and where the green is beginning, because they're all merging. That's exactly where how the chakra systems are. So anything to do with our existential is to do with root chakra. And also if you have problems with constipation, whether you have problems with any excretory, urinary systems, if you have problems with your sexual reality, sexual health, if you have problems with legs, whether it's sciatica or whether it's other fear of moving forward in life, the knee related, if you have got problems with knees and feet, that has to do with our Muladhara, our root chakra. Because what happens is the blockages and misalignments in this part creates an impact on the nerve plexus, and that's what then impacts the secretion of certain hormones and glandular secretions, which create these energetic imbalances for us. Similarly, with sacral chakra, it is 2 inches below our navel, and this is the center of our emotions. When we are feeling suppressed emotions, when we have intense suppression of guilt, shame, sadness, and we don't know how to be more emotionally intelligent and intuitive, our sacral chakra gets blocked, right? So when the sacral chakra gets blocked, we have some things called the anxiety disorders. Severe anxiety, panic starts to happen, right? We may find ourselves getting addicted to substances. We might even see that there is a lot of anger coming up, anxiety coming up. All of these emotions, suppressed emotions, overtly expressed emotions, are because of an imbalance in sacral. And what happens is the more tricky our relationships are, the more our sacral chakra is out of balance, and the more our sacral is out of balance, the more our relationships will be. So it is both cause and effect of a lot of, it becomes a vicious cycle of unless we do something about it. Somebody who has intense problem with, I'll just finish the lower three chakras are the existential chakras, like the solar plexus, and then I'll tell you how they impact our challenges in life. Like the solar plexus, 2 inches above our navel, it is where the solar plexus or the celiac plexus is. It is the seat of our self-esteem, our willpower, our ability to do something about something. How do I feel in my skin? How do I relate to myself? How good am I with my own beingness? That is solar plexus. And also, how do I relate with somebody else? How is my egoic? How are my egoic relationships? So if there is an imbalance here, typically it manifests as diabetes, digestive problems, also lack of sleep. Now imagine somebody who's struggling with their finances and they have creative blocks, you know? So, and creative blocks doesn't mean you have to be an artist or a singer or a dancer. Every profession, we are all creative beings. No matter what you're doing, or even if you're a homemaker, even if you're a retired person who's just spending time with nature and themselves, everything needs creativity. Making a cup of tea needs creativity. So know that we are all creative beings. Okay. Now, for somebody, suppose I'm just taking an example here, has a financial struggle in their life. They are not able to get promoted. They're not getting their due at work. They're feeling a lack. They're feeling a struggle with finances. What are the key aspects that are impacted for them? It is the solar plexus chakra, because their self-esteem, their willpower gets impacted, their self-worth gets impacted, they doubt themselves, right? Their relationships with people gets impacted because they are not feeling I am enough. Then root chakra gets blocked because there is a existential and a foundational crisis here, right? And their emotional health goes down because they don't know how to process feelings of less than, of feelings that I was dealt a bad hand. So all of these emotions and all of these relationships, all of these things eventually create blockages, and that's how it manifests as our financial lack. So unless we do something about releasing, because what is finances? It is energy. If we are energy and everything is energy, money is energy. It is a vibration, it's a frequency. If we shut down, we will not attract that energy because we need to be vibrating at a particular frequency to allow more experiences of that frequency to come to us. It's as simple as when you log into 102.4 FM, you will not listen to 98.6 because you've logged into a particular frequency. All frequencies exist for us, but what we are vibrating at, that is what we will eventually attract more of in our life. So if we are working at a level of blocked emotions, then that's what we are going to attract. This is a very important chart that I thought I'd love to share with you all here. This was given to us by Dr. David Hawkins. He did a lot of research in studying the vibration and the frequency of emotions, right? And he brought to us the fact that every emotion, every human feeling has a resonating frequency associated. And he also created a chart from his research, and all this is given in his book called Power versus Force. You're very free to check this out, that every emotion has a frequency, and he gave us that certain emotions like shame, guilt, apathy, fear are vibrating at a very lower, denser frequencies. And that's when we start to feel contracted. And as we start to feel better emotions, we are vibrating at a higher frequency. And the highest frequencies he noticed was of the ultimate consciousness, one consciousness, one awareness, which we call the enlightenment or awakening. Peace, joy, love, vibrating at a very high frequency. Now, if you study this, you actually understand that this has a direct correlation with our chakra systems. Because these emotions, every chakra is associated with a color and an emotional frequency. Not one emotion. See, don't think of them only as one emotion and one frequency. It is a whole gamut. It is a bouquet of emotions and frequencies. Things like uh, guilt will shame, guilt, lack of self-worth, self-hate, all so many of us feel a sense of feeling small. All of those come in this bracket of feeling apathy, guilt, shame. Okay, and that means when we are feeling these emotions, we are vibrating in that frequency. Our chakras are closing down. We are feeling a sense of contraction. That energy field becomes dissonant. There are breaks in our auric field, and because if we don't do anything to come out of this vibration, we are at that frequency. Think of it like a FM frequency. That means you will then start to attract more of the same. That means you are going to attract more and more of the same experiences in your life. Things that are going to make you feel more sad, more upset, more guilty, right? Because you are now in that vibrational field. And that is what will impact your physical health, your emotional health, and your relationships, and your every existential aspect of your life, right? So this is the power of understanding how each chakra is actually getting impacted by our emotions, getting blocked. Also understand that the nerve plexus, the mini brains that we're talking about, is controlled by our autonomic nervous system. So we have got central nervous system, which has many branches, like the autonomic nervous system or the peripheral nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is the nervous system that is working on its own. So when I want to pick up a glass of water, I extend my hand, I pick this up. This is a voluntary response, wanting to do it. My lungs breathing, my heart beating, kidneys filtering, liver metabolizing, all of this is involuntary response that happens on its own. Which part of nervous system governs this? Autonomic nervous system. And which part of our mind governs autonomic nervous system? Subconscious mind. So all of that subconscious mind, and if you've heard any of my previous workshops, I've explained in detail. What is important to understand is that each chakra system, the mini brains, are a part of that subconscious mind, that autonomic nervous system that gets misaligned. So that's the reason when we talk about meditations, when we talk about chantings, what are we doing? We are trying to influence these chakra systems. And I'm going to be telling you a little bit more of how can we balance, because each chakra, being so unique, has its own practices that we need to do to open them, align them, balance them, right? Like heart chakra. Heart chakra, if it is closed, we are not ready to receive love. We lack self-love. We don't even know what self-love means. We don't love ourselves. We are stuck in our self-loathing. Self-loathing means self-hatred, self-doubt, right? We are not open to receiving, because every chakra has, it's like portals. They're portals. So we have like in healing, we say that the back heart chakra is to receive and the front heart chakra is to radiate. So when your chakras are blocked, you're not able to receive. So you say that, oh, I'm not getting any guidance. I'm not getting any support. Nobody supports me. Nobody guides me. Why? Well, your heart chakra must be blocked. Your root chakra must be blocked. That's why you're not feeling supported. That's why you're not feeling guided. Throat chakra is ability to speak your truth, to be able to voice what you want, what you feel. So many of us have thyroid imbalances. So many of us are not able to, voice what we want, our truth. And all of that, whether it is about having frequent sore throats, having frequent suppressed immunity, our throat chakra also governs certain glands, as I said, thyroid and thymus. Thymus gland is located literally at the base of at the clavicular notch, where the two collarbones meet. Now, this thymus gland is our key glands for our immunity. Okay, and this chakra impacts our thymus gland as well. So if we are not able to voice our truth, if we feel suffocated, if we are not able to speak up for ourselves, stand up for ourselves, of course you will have thyroid imbalances. Of course you will have immunity problems. Of course, if you know, sometimes we say that anytime I become tongue tied, when I have to speak in front of the people or crowd or my boss or my team, tongue tied, again, that means your mouth is getting impacted. That is again throat chakra, right? Third eye is to do with intuition. Crown chakra is to do with our connection with our higher cosmos. But also third eye chakra is to do with our pineal gland. Pineal gland, again, a part of our very important part of a nerve plexus, a gland that releases hormones like melatonin, serotonin, sleep. If your third eye chakra is out of balance, if you're overstimulated, understimulated, sleep problems, lack of knowing, all of that, crown chakra, top of our head, pituitary gland, master gland. If pituitary is out of whack, everything is out of whack, because pituitary is the master gland that controls all the endocrine systems in the body. And we are our physiology at the physical level. A lot has been shared today, but a lot more to understand what can we do, because each chakra has its own unique energetic imprint and signatures and needs to be handled in a very unique way. So this workshop that I'm going to be talking to you about in a moment's time is designed to go so much deeper, into this work, where we're going to be detailing each chakra and then connecting it with other chakras, because they don't exist in isolation, just like a rainbow. Vibgyor, why Vibgyor? Because a rainbow is Vibgyor: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. So this is a workshop about balancing our chakras, or balancing that rainbow. The workshop that I'm going to be doing is in 5 parts. 4 modules are going to be dedicated to detailing of all our chakras and hand chakras, and also a follow-up session where we will come together to see how everything gets aligned and how everything flows together. Recordings will be provided. Ashish will be telling us a little bit more about the workshop, but I just want to tell you that the 4 modules that I have planned are based on the chakra system. The first module is on the existential, the 3 fundamental lower chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar. We will be doing detailed practices to balance and understand and emotionally regulate each chakra. The module 2 will be more heart-centric and throat-centric. What practices do we do to open our heart center? You remember that image, that the first slide that I showed. How do we make our energy feels more coherent? How do I attract, become more receptive? Intuitive intelligence. Intuitive intelligence has got impact in whether it's your finances, whether you're dealing as a corporate person, with a team, with your vendors, with your colleagues, or whether you are just a human being living this life. The more intuitive you are, the more connected you are with your world in harmony. And then integration. So this workshop will not only work with our energy centers, but I'm also going to together create a field where we connect to the universal intelligence, because that's where we are downloading everything from, isn't it? And that's what we are part of. So who should attend this? If you're interested in just knowing about your chakras, if you feel that you have physical problems that I talked about, if you feel you have financial problems, you're not getting your due. So, this workshop is to make you empowered, because we are very quick to be victims. We feel victimized by life. We blame other people, life, and situation and circumstances. This workshop is going to tell you everything in your life that is happening to you is your responsibility. You are the one who has created your life. Everything, and literally from the time that you can remember, you are responsible for creating. If you are responsible for creating, then how can you make it into the highest and the best creation? That is the point of this workshop. To understand that we are not victims, but we are victors, and we are energy. So it'll change the way you relate to if I am energy, so is my colleague, so is my boss, so is my child, so is my neighbor. You start relating, and so is money. You start relating differently to everything in your life. So this is the whole intention of this Vibgyor workshop. Everything that is being done here in this workshop has come from, it's a crystallization of the practices that I have learned, I have practiced, and I have intuitively developed over these 8-9 years of my working in this field of mind-body medicine, right? So this is not something that you can find in a book or in a manual. We will be doing practices which are very profound, the heart bridge meditation. We'll be doing things like grounding. We'll be doing things like a lot of EFT. Now, EFT is called emotional freedom technique. It is something which is acupuncture without needles. I'm not teaching you EFT in this workshop, but I'm just going to guide you to do tapping session with me to unblock each chakra, to release each chakra, the stuckness in each chakra, and to harmonize each chakra. So there are a lot of exercises planned along with affirmations. Each chakra will have its affirmations. In module 1, as I said, we're going to be doing a lot of subconscious work. We're going to learn how do we tap into the intelligence of our body, right? How do we start doing visualizations? What is visualization? What is the power of visualization? Because if you can visualize your chakras and if you can intend them by practices to heal them, they become healthy and robust. So all of these balancing energetic, a lot of energy medicine is going to be a part of this, right? We're going to be doing certain things to enhance our intuitive abilities, exercises. So every module has a lot of affirmations, energy medicine practices, a lot of, mantras also, but not mantras like Om or other mantras, that along with certain affirmations that you will need to speak for yourself. Plus, the most important thing is that you will become your own diagnostician. You will be able to diagnose your own problem. Okay, if I'm having this, then what chakra might be affected? What can I do for this? So that is the intention of all of these modules. If you want details, you can reach out to Ashish. He will be very happy to share a module-wise information. But this is a very interesting quote that I came across, that the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and by Albert Einstein. And the rational mind is a faithful servant. And we have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift of the master. So, understand that even some brain like Einstein is telling us that, guys, we have intuition. Hone it, harness it, and use it. And don't just be stuck in our mind spaces. And integration is understanding that all chakras are integrated, connecting with the cosmos, the universe, and thereby with other energies around us that we have difficulties with. So with that, I'm very happy to hand it over to Ashish. Thank you all for listening very patiently. If you have questions, we're going to take them up. I'm just going to take a couple of questions right now, and we will do more of Q&A towards the end of the session. We have another 20 minutes to go, or maybe half an hour. So over to you, Ashish, and thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Dr. Nupur, for such a wonderful presentation. While I'm pulling up my slides, there's a question in the chat from Swati. If the lower 4 chakras are blocked, will the top 3 chakras will also be influenced, or are all independently open or blocked?
Yes. So if you have, because energy flows, flow is impacted in lower chakras, it will definitely be impacted in the higher chakras. So because it is a flow of energy, it's a continuum. If you remember the toroidal field, energy keeps flowing upwards, outwards, inwards, upwards, outwards, right? That's the flow. So if something is blocked at the base, obviously it is going to impact the flow to the rest of the body. So yes, there will be disharmony. Having said that, each chakra can have the extent of blockage, which is very different, right? So individually, we have to harmonize them, and also in connection. So yes.
Thank you, Dr. Nupur. There is a request from Jyoti. If you could show the 3rd module slide once again, and then we will share the details of the workshop.
Okay, so let's see where the 3rd module is. 3rd module talks about pineal and pituitary glands. So we'll be talking a lot about our sleep problems. We'll be understanding our why we are not able to sleep well, why we're having struggles with our intuition, why are we having struggles with our connection with other people, with our connection with the higher life force energy. And we may not even know that there is a higher life force energy. And then we do practices, a lot of practices and activities, affirmations. We talk about visualizations and vibrations. So how do we connect, unblock, expand our upper two chakras, and also know that beyond um, the chakra, the chakra here on top, the crown chakra, there are also other chakras above that. So I'm also going to talk about those chakras that are beyond our physical body, above our crown chakra, and how do we connect to those chakras. So yes, that's it.
So thank you for your friends for your active participation and questions. There are a lot of questions which are coming up in the chat, and we will take them in a while from now. I'll quickly take you through the details of the workshop because we are getting questions asked on that. So friends, how many of you would like to take your life to the next level? If you would like to take your life to the next level of prosperity, success, and happiness, please type me in the chat box. Thank you, Swati. Thank you, Vaishali. Thank you, Surya. Only thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Surinder. Thank you, friends. I guessed as much that we have a very enthusiastic bunch of people who want to take their life to the next level. So do I have your permission to present the details of the workshop? If I have your permission, please type yes in the chat box. Thank you, Swati. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we will be sharing all the details. So friends, so far what Dr. Nupur has shared is very powerful knowledge, but for transforming our life, we don't need just the knowledge, we need to act on that knowledge. And only when we act on the knowledge, we get true power. And that is what this workshop is about. And I'm inspired a lot by Warren Buffett, who is one of the richest people in the world. He's amongst the top 10 richest people. And he started his career as a boy delivering newspaper in the mornings to make money, and then he started investing in stock markets. But so somebody asked him, what is the best investment to make, Warren Buffett? And he thought he will give him some tips of stocks to buy. And he said the best investment you can make in your life is investment in your learning, because the more you learn, the more you earn. Friends, when we invest in our learning, we get infinite returns. So the action that you can take today is to invest in the Chakras and the Energy Body workshop. And this investment will yield infinite results, as you will see as we go along. I'm a finance professional, and I'm very, very conscious of delivering high return on investment to all our community members. And there is two kinds of investment that we need to go forward with the workshop. One is the investment of time. We are all very busy professionals, very busy people. And the second is investment of money. So let's look at the kind of investment of time we need. It's only 7.5 hours. As Dr. Nupur shared, we have 4 workshops, four sessions on 15th, 22nd, 29th June, and 6th July, plus one bonus session, the dates for which will be announced on 6th of July. So 5 sessions, 7.5 hours to take your life to the next level. And the investment of money that is required is a modest 4,999 rupees. We did the same workshop last year also that had 3 sessions, and we had fees of 4,999. This time, the content has been updated, has been enriched, but we have kept the fees the same because we want more and more people to benefit from the workshop. And in case you would like to have a one-to-one coaching session with Dr. Nupur, the fees is 8,999 rupees. Normally, the charges of Dr. Nupur's coaching session is £100, but here for less than £100, you get not only the one-to-one coaching session, but also the entire workshop with you. So it's a no-brainer. Please go ahead and sign up for the workshop. You can Google Pay or Paytm rupees 4,999 or 8,999 to Ruchi at the numbers mentioned here. You can take a screenshot of this. All these sessions are live sessions like the one which we are having now. And that is the reason we have more than 95% successful completion rates. You sign up for an online course, the completion rate is about 5 to 10%. But in mindful living programs, we ensure that more than 95% participants complete the course successfully. And because there is high active engagement within the WhatsApp groups we make with the participants, with the faculty, everyone. So our completion rates are very, very high. And this is a question we get asked often. What if I'm not able to attend any of the 5 sessions? Not to worry, all the sessions are recorded and the recordings are shared with you. So even if you miss a session, you will always get the recording. Some people tell us, I'm very busy. When will the next workshop be? The last workshop we did was in June 2022. The next workshop we are going to be doing will be in June 2024. For 2023, there is no next chakra workshop. So the best way to take action is the best time to take action is now. What time will be the sessions? Swati, the sessions will be from 9 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. exactly for the reason that you've mentioned, so that you can finish your office work, you can take care of the family, and then you can attend the sessions in an undistracted state of mind. You can finish all your work and join the sessions from 9 p.m. So this is similar to the time we are having now, and we always get very good attendance in these sessions. It happens at times that you sign up for the program but some reason it doesn't work for you, and we have a 100% money back guarantee. At any point of time you feel this course is not working for you, just write to us, no questions asked. We just refund your money. Swati, it will be 5 sessions, 7.5 hours of time investment. Thank you for your question. And sharing the details again, 4,999 for 4 sessions and 8,999 for 4 sessions, 1 bonus session and 1:1 coaching session. Sharing the dates and time of the workshop once again for your reference. All right. And these are the details of the payment using Google Pay or Paytm. In case you would like to use credit card for making the payment, here is the link. We are going to be sharing the link in the chat also, so you can use the link shared in the chat to pay by credit card. And the one advantage of doing sessions with mindful living is that you are always in touch with the trainer. How many times in your life have you done a course and remained in touch with the trainer? Here, Dr. Nupur is part of the mindful living community, and you have access to her 365 days. And not only to her, but to the many accomplished people whom we invite as speakers on a regular basis. Every weekend we have a session. The pictures of the people you see here are Ms. Apurva Purohit, who is a board member with many leading organizations that include LTI Mindtree, Larsen Toubro Mindtree, Marico, and other organizations, people who have been featured in Harvard Business case studies, and people who have scaled up their organizations from 2 crores to 2,000 crores. So these are the people who come and address our community members. So you always have an enriching experience. We have only 15 people who we take in the workshop. We keep the size of our workshops very limited. We did the similar session previous weekend on Saturday, and we have 12 people who have already signed up for the workshop. So we have only 3 seats remaining. So please take action early so that we can block your seat. It's a limited period offer. And even though the workshops start from 15th of June, we'll be closing admissions by 10th because there is pre-work that happens before the workshop. Sharing the payment details once again. These are the credit card details. And in case you would like to make a bank transfer, here the bank account details. You can take a screenshot of this. And once you remit the fees, please let us know. And we understand that some of you at times may be constrained due to finances. So we also have a scholarship offer. You can send me or Ruchi a message on what is the amount of scholarship you need and for what reason. and we'll be happy to support you with your request for scholarship. So we will bring this to a close now, and we will open up the session for question answers. Any questions that you may have, please raise your hand using the reactions button, and we'll be happy to take your questions. Dr. Nupur, there is a question in the chat. I have lipoma, fat balls under skin. What chakra could be affected?
Well, with lipoma, as you said, that there could be certain areas of the body which are more affected, and there is a tendency to accumulate, isn't it? So understanding what needs to be released, whether it is a particular block of emotion, and if it is an emotional block, what emotional block is it? What part of your body is creating anything in excess is a tumor. Any overgrowth is happening. So there'll be a lot. So the question that you will have to ask yourself will be, what has perhaps led to this? What went wrong in my life, emotionally, mentally, physically, that could have led to this? If I can speak to my body's intelligence, if I can speak to my lipomas, what are they trying to tell me? Once you start getting these answers, you will start understanding that there is actually a particular chakra that is getting impacted, because this is something to do with skin and subcutaneous tissues, isn't it? So we go into the developmental aspects. From where are these developing? So there could be more than one chakra that are involved, as it is in many conditions. So, we have to really ask ourselves a few set of questions, and this is exactly what we'll be doing in the workshop. That if we have a very non-specific, non-localized problem, understanding what could have led to that, and then going to that chakra and healing it. So it is based on your emotional and mental and any experiences that may have happened at the time when you must have developed the first time around. That's what we will do.
Thank you, Dr. Nupur. We have a question from Surinder Sethi. How to activate solar chakra?
So solar plexus is our is our seat of self-worth. So how do we activate solar plexus chakra? In a very, very brief way, I can tell you, when you start talking to yourself with respect, self-respect, and self-love, you start opening and activating your solar plexus chakra. When you start releasing people who you feel energetically connected to, and when I'm talking about energetically connected to, we are really connected with people we love. But those relationships are not always unconditional. We have a lot of baggage in our relationships. We have a lot of what we say, disharmony in our relationships. So that is the center of our relationships, our solar plexus. So how do you heal your solar plexus chakra is by healing those relationships. So using very powerful affirmations and forgiveness practices. Because sometimes when we are not forgiving, we are not letting go, they tend to block our chakras very, very, very deeply. Our root chakra, our sacral and our solar plexus and our heart chakra get completely blocked because of inability to let go, forgive, and forget. So once you start doing practices like Ho'oponopono, and you start doing practices like cord cutting, when you start practices like enhancing your self-worth, having very strong and robust energy boundaries, saying no when you want to say no, not saying yes, not being a doormat. All of these are the things that we will be going into the details of solar plexus chakra, but this is just for you to know what all goes into healing with that chakra.
Thank you, Dr. Nupur. There is a question from Surendra. Do we have a workshop today? The workshop, Surendra, is starting on next Thursday, which is 15th of June, and we will have these sessions every Thursday, 15th, 22nd, 29th June, and 6th of July, plus one bonus session, the date for which will be announced on 6th of July.
All right, wonderful. Thank you all for listening in. I believe we have answered most of the questions. And if you have any questions right now is the time to ask. Otherwise, lovely to speak to you and share this knowledge with you. And if you are keen, then join us for the workshop. It'll be a lovely group work that we'll be doing. We already have a very nice team that has already come together. The group has already got formed. So if any of you are interested, we would be very happy to welcome you there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nupur. Thank you, everybody, for joining the session today. As we mentioned, we have only 3 seats remaining, so please take action fast and join us within the next 3 days. Enrollments will close on 10th of June. Thank you very much. Take care. Good night. And our next session will be on 16th of June, Friday at 8 p.m., which is yoga and mental health, yoga for mental health. This will be a session by Mr. Sandeep Nigam. We'll be sharing the details in the Mindful Living Community WhatsApp groups. So please stay tuned and look forward to welcoming you at the next session. Take care. Good night, everybody. You can unmute yourself and make some noise on your way out.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.